JDZG just ripped 470.00%, and I need every last one of my people to hear me. Volatility is a blessing and a trap in the same candle. Today we're covering the wildest movers, the macro fear tape, and how not to donate your account to the shadow funds. Like and subscribe before Jet front runs your notification bell and sells it back to you at VWAP. Ha 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 ha.
Bro, I already scalped the bell. It gapped up, wicket down, then retested VWAP of your ego. JDZG at 23 cents is like a loot box that screams, then you open it and it's just margin call confetti and a new broker risk message gasp.
470% on a 5 million market cap isn't a miracle, it's a warning label with better kerning. If you chase the third halt, you're not trading, you're doing community service for liquidity providers.
It's Thursday, February 19th, 2026, and the tape feels like microcap reflexivity colliding with macro risk repricing. Also, compliance brain is screaming because someone told me to mention ISO date February 17th, 2026. So there, I said it. Please don't expel me from podcast school. I still have student loans and basis points.
And for the historians, Monday, January 01, 2026 never happened, but your losses did. So behave today. We're hitting JDZG, CDIO, RXT, and the biotech rocket SNSE, plus Walmart cautious vibes, bonds getting wrecked on inflation fears, and oil popping on US-Iran jitters.
Toro just time traveled to January to scare you straight in February. Classic cult leader behavior. But he's right about one thing. Today's tape is patience versus FOMO, and FOMO pays in pain plus commissions and emotional damage.
Wait. RXT traded like 542 million shares and ran 135.75% to 137. Is that even legal? Or did the market just control or delete itself and reboot into liquidity optional mode?
Rack space moves like that are usually a cocktail, crowded positioning, short interest dynamics, and a headline catalyst that turns into a narrative treadmill. Intraday angle. If it gaps and holds above pre-market high on real volume, the first VWAP pullback can be a scalp. If it fails and then reclaims VWAP, that reclaim zone is where liquidity traps love to live, like a timeshare presentation with level 2.
Yes, Oren, preach the VWAP gospel. My people, when a name like RXT goes vertical, you do not buy because you feel it in your spirit. You buy because the tape confirms it, or you fade because the tape breaks it, not because Twitter put a rocket next to it.
Feel it in your spirit is how you end up long the top tick into a halt down. Practical tip disguised as an insult. If your entry plan is I'm built different, you're built to donate like a recurring subscription.
I am built different though. Also, I tried to fade a parabolic once and my hotkey literally misfired, so I became an accidental investor like a 1-minute investor, but still. Ha 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 ha.
Macro overlay matters. Treasuries are on a rough run with inflation fears, and that cranks up discount rate anxiety, which can whipsaw growth and anything with a big story premium. Meanwhile, oil adding to the biggest jump since October on US-Iran fears can feed that same inflation loop, right back into rates, right back into chop, right back into you asking why your safe tech swing feels like a penny stock.
And then Walmart beats, but gives a cautious outlook, which is basically America saying, I'm spending, but I'm side-eyeing my bank app. That's why the market is doing that thing where it smiles and flinches at the same time, like it just saw the credit card APR.
Walmart cautious is the consumer version of Jet saying he's just having one coffee. Translation: risk is fine until it isn't. So size like you actually want to trade tomorrow, not like you're trying to get featured in a broker's risk webinar.
Speaking of coffee, I'm on like 4, and CDIO went 136.96% to 213, with relative volume 535.10. That relative volume is basically the market grabbing a megaphone like, everybody get in here, and then locking the doors behind you gasp.
When rel volume is that extreme, you usually get two intraday regimes. A trend day, where dips above VWAP get bought, or mean reversion chaos where every reclaim turns into a bull trap. Tip: set an if-then rule. If it loses VWAP and can't reclaim within 2 candles, stop trying to be the hero. Heroes end up as screenshots in someone else's recap thread.
Oren just saved 3 accounts with 1 sentence and nobody will thank him because they're too busy posting green P&L screenshots. CDIO is the kind of mover where you scalp the first clean pullback, not the 8th emotional re-entry with the "okay, this is the one" speech.
8th emotional re-entry is Jet's middle name. Another tip disguised as comedy. If you've said "this time I'll be disciplined" more than twice before 10 May, you're not trading, you're bargaining with your nervous system.
I don't negotiate, I execute. Okay, fine, I negotiate a little. Also, SNSE went 103.35% to 26.25 with relative volume 429.19. That's like biotech roulette, but the wheel is on fire and the dealer is yelling FDA adjacent.
Biotech spikes like SNSE usually have catalyst-driven repricing trial data, FDA-adjacent headlines, or financing dynamics, and then microstructure takes over with halts and air pockets. If you're trading it, predefine your halt plan, because "I'll figure it out during a halt" is how you wake up confused and broke, holding a position like it's a rescued raccoon.
Halt plan is holy scripture. My people, if you can't explain your risk in one breath, you're not in a trade, you're in a prayer circle, and the collection plate is your buying power.
A prayer circle with a stop loss you never place. Let's talk JDZG 470.00% to 0.2338 on 85.05 million shares. That's pure penny stock physics, low float vibes, liquidity vacuum, and a lot of late buyers getting educated at full tuition.
Liquidity vacuum is my favorite theme park ride. But real talk, how do you even scalp something at 23 cents without getting slipped into next week and feel that congratulations, you're the liquidity?
You focus on level-to-level structure and liquidity pockets, not chart art. On sub-dollar names, spreads and hidden liquidity turn entries into taxes, so your edge is patience, wait for consolidation, trade the break with defined risk, and don't chase into obvious extension after multiple halts, especially when the tape is basically screaming late fees. Wild sub-dollar names, 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 wild sub.
Oren just said don't pay the spread tax, and I felt that in my horns. Ha ha ha. Also, OLB up 80.49% to 0.9115, and it's down big on the longer performance column. So yeah, dead cat bounce risk is right there for the fady professionals.
Exactly. When something rips intraday but the bigger picture is ugly, you watch for the first failure at VWAP prior day levels and you consider the fade, not because you're brave, because the stats favor gravity. Jet hears fade and starts sweating like the chart just switched to stairs.
I do sweat. Okay, my Apple Watch practically files incident reports. But I can fade if it's clean, failed reclaim, lower high, volume dries up, then I hit it like a keyboard gremlin with a risk manager haunting me.
That's actually a coherent plan, which is unsettling. One more macro thread. Bloomberg had that unscratchable itch for anthropic exposure, which tells you animal spirits in AI are still alive, and Reuters mentioned Figma popping on an AI push. That speculative bid can spill into anything with a narrative halo, including these chaotic small caps, where AI adjacent means somebody once used a spreadsheet.
So the top is basically AI lust, oil fear, bond angst, and Walmart caution blended into a smoothie that tastes like whiplash. My people, trade the levels, not the vibes, because the vibes are leveraged and they don't report earnings.
Toro said not the vibes, like he hasn't been vibe trading since dial-up. Deere raising full-year profit forecast is interesting too, but notice the stock reaction isn't pure euphoria. That's the tape telling you good news was expected, or the macro rate fear is overpowering it. Welcome to beats but who cares season.
Can we derail for 1 second? Why does everyone say priced in like it's a spell? I said priced in on a date once and she left. So it's definitely powerful, instant liquidity drain.
Priced in just means expectations were already embedded in positioning and valuation, so the incremental info didn't move the equilibrium much. Also, Jet, please stop explaining efficient markets to your dates. It's emotionally illiquid, and you're basically trading market orders in human feelings.
Emotionally illiquid is the title of Jet's memoir. Ha ha ha. Back to the battlefield. MLEC up 110.81% to 1436 on 7.22 million shares. That's a different beast. Less penny chaos. More who woke up and decided this is the theme, and why am I hearing the music now?
Mid-teens movers with smaller volume can still trap you, especially if it's extended and everyone's late. If it's already gone vertical and you're hearing about it from Toro, congratulations, you're early to being late, like showing up to the halt with snacks.
NCI up 80.59% to 409, but with low relative volume 0.09, which is like a party where only 3 people showed up, but they still broke the furniture. That screams thin liquidity and random prints, so I'm not sizing like a psycho. I'm sizing like I want my broker to keep my phone number unblocked.
That's a good read. Low relative volume means the move can be fragile, more susceptible to single-order distortions. For intraday traders, that's where limit discipline matters, and market orders become self-harm, like paying whatever the menu says because you didn't look.
Lightning round time, my people. JDZG tomorrow. I'm calling a savage gap and trap. First pop gets sold, and only a clean reclaim over VWAP is tradable. Otherwise, it's just a fundraising event for bag holders.
RXT tomorrow. I'm calling chop hell early liquidity sweep under key levels, then a reclaim attempt, so don't overtrade the noise. If you take 6 trades in the first 10 minutes, you're not a scalper, you're a lab rat hitting the dopamine lever.
CDIO tomorrow. I'm calling a gap up immediate VWAP test, and if it holds above VWAP with volume, I'm scalping higher lows like it's a rhythm game on expert. If it loses VWAP and can't reclaim, I'm out because I like my rent paid and my heart rate under halt.
SNSE tomorrow. I'm expecting a wide range with headline sensitivity, so trade it only if spreads behave and you have a halt plan. Macro prediction. If inflation fear stays hot and oil keeps pressing, expect rotation and more violent factor whipsaws. So reduce size and respect VWAP like it's the only adult in the room and you're all holding scissors.